Thanks for joining. We have some really important information that any insurance professional or consultant that works with business owners needs to know. So whether you are an insurance industry professional, a financial planner or advisor, or just interested in making sure you know all the latest information and regulations. So there has been some dramatic changes to health insurance, and you might not be aware of this because the media is busy picking up everything on COVID, and also it just hasn't been reported on as much. It's actually really good news. There are real affordable and fair options available for families that is really, really desperately needed. We know that health insurance is a crisis in America. Health insurance rates continue to rise. We've had the pass of some sweeping laws over the past 10 years, and the prices continue to go up for many that upper to middle income level, middle to upper class. So health insurance is really, really hated, and it's a no-win situation. I'm going to show a short clip from one of my favorite shows, The Office. This kind of makes fun of this topic because it is very close to home with a lot of folks, and at least we can laugh about it a little bit before we get started.
The gold plan. Yep. I'm not even on that plan.
Well, I recommend it. It's very good. You gotta crack these
The
things
whole
open.
reason that we're doing this is to save money. So you just need to pick a provider and then choose the cheapest plan.
Well, that is kind of a tough assignment. It's not going to be a popular
What's your
decision
job?
around the old orifice.
So,
It's a suicide mission, you know?
Michael,
I don't...
sometimes a manager like yourself has to deliver the bad news to the employees. I do it all the time.
Oh, yeah, when have you ever done that?
I'm doing it right now. To you.
All right. Well, you guys can watch that clip on your own. It's on YouTube and everywhere else on the internet, and it plays out really funny. But back to the serious business, health insurance is hated in America. Most people are not satisfied with their health insurance. However, people do appreciate other forms of insurance and are satisfied with other types of insurance. So I want to pose a question. Does America hate all insurance? And we have some information here. There was a study done in 2016 that 85% of drivers in the United States are satisfied with their auto insurance. It's very simple, it's straightforward, and people can understand it. And they appreciate it. So what I want to do is ask the question, why can't health insurance be that simple? Well, you might be surprised. It can be, and it has become with some new legislation. There are some plans that are that simple. But before we go into that, let's look at the parallels and let's kind of rethink insurance or health insurance. So auto insurance, I want to take a look at the parallels between auto insurance and health insurance. So auto insurance, there's the protection from unforeseen expenses. Yes, there are. Are the rates underwritten? Yes, they are underwritten based on the risk factors. Is there protection for major loss? Yes, if you wreck your car, you usually pay $1,000 deductible, $500 deductible, whatever you have, and then they pay the rest. It's pretty simple. However, is preventative maintenance covered? No, of course not. That's ridiculous, right? Why would we even think that? Well, let's think about it for a second. Tire rotation, oil change, and windshield wiper blades. 3 very inexpensive maintenance, preventative maintenance things that we all do for our vehicles. They keep our vehicles safe and on the road in a safe manner to avoid catastrophic accidents. And they're so relatively inexpensive, I would pose the question, why don't the big auto insurance companies cover these expenses? Because it could eliminate their risk and save them money as well. So let's table that and just ponder that for a minute. Are the rates based on risk factors? Absolutely. So, for example, a 17-year-old driving a brand new Corvette will pay more in premium than a 35-year-old driving a minivan. It is absolutely true, and we're all okay with that in the auto insurance world. 85% of Americans are satisfied with their plan. Let me also state this. Not everyone that drives a car buys auto insurance. Not everyone does the right thing and protects themselves and buys auto insurance. There are a lot of uninsured motorists on the roads. There's some things you just can't cure 100%. Protection for unforeseen expenses. Yes, for sure. And health insurance Are the rates underwritten? In some cases, where the law permits, right, and group rates and stuff like that. Are there protection for unforeseen major medical events? Absolutely. That's why we buy health insurance. The main reason we buy health insurance is if there's a catastrophic loss. And I am really passionate about this topic because actually a close family member of mine growing up canceled their health insurance because it became unaffordable for them. And this person had a major catastrophic event, an illness occurred, and they lost everything. So I'm really passionate about health insurance, but can we predict or foresee preventive costs? Now, we can't predict or foresee a major catastrophic event, a heart attack, cancer, stroke, something major accident, but we can predict and we should plan on preventative measures. So just as auto insurance or automobiles need preventive maintenance, so do our bodies. I'm not saying we don't need this. We absolutely need preventive coverage, but what impact does it have on our premiums? And do we want to take control and have consumer-driven healthcare? I'm not going to answer those questions. I want us to ponder them. Do we want lower insurance? Yes, we all want lower insurance premiums in health insurance. No one seems to be happy with their health insurance. Of course, my source is the office. So 2 questions. Number 1 is, how do we get here? And number 2 is, can health insurance be more like auto insurance? And the answer is yes. And actually, these plans are here now. Plans that very, very similar to auto insurance. And a good close friend of mine has a business. His name is Jason Nealon. Him and his family were paying $1,500 a month. He's a political consultant, independent business owner. And I helped sign him up for one of these new plans that are on a term chassis, just like term life. There are now new major medical plans. Recent legislation has allowed them to come to life. And they're on term medicals, terms from 1 year to 3 years. And these plans are very affordable from national carriers, no sacrifice and compromise of quality. But he is using these plans and now saving $760 a month. I and my family on plans just like this. So I want to tell you that I've been in the insurance industry. I've worked for major carriers. I built a business on InsurTech. And these plans are legit. A lot of industry insiders are now converting to these plans. Jason Neal and his family are saving over $9,000 a year, real dollars that he keeps in his pocket that he can repurpose into other products or financial vehicles, or saving for college, whatever. So how did health insurance become so hated in America? We need to answer that question. Now, the teaser is there's a lot of Jason Nealons out there, and there's a lot of folks for you to help, and we want to explain the details of how this is able to be so. Let's take a trip back in time to see what we can learn. Michael J. Fox has let us borrow his DeLorean here just to keep it fun. Insurance before the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act, before 2010, most insurance was private and underwritten. What is private insurance? Private insurance is when you buy a plan direct with a carrier, no government intervention, direct to an insurance carrier. Now, there are state regulations and DOIs to regulate these insurance companies, but it's purchased as an individual or a group of individuals, like an employer group. What is underwriting? Underwriting is assessing the risk for the insurance company. Remember the 17-year-old driving the Corvette? They're going through underwriting. They're looking at the risk, okay? So we assess the medical history of an individual or family and assess that risk to adjust the premiums or the policy. The high-risk pools. So if you have underwriting in individual health insurance or for families, then you have to have a guaranteed issue option. We used to call these the state high-risk pools. Before 2010, before the exchanges, the only option for individuals were the high-risk pools if you couldn't get guaranteed issue coverage or if you needed guaranteed issue coverage. And before 2014, when the exchanges launched, the plans were not systematized. Each state had variations, dramatic variations, and it was very, very hard to get into. These plans, if you ever tried to get a guaranteed issue plan through the high-risk pools in your state, you probably ran into these problems. They're very, very difficult. The Patient Protection Affordable Care Act improved the access for Americans, and actually so much so that millions and millions of Americans now access plans through the exchanges. They're actually pretty simple to get into. The plans, the system's uniform. It's usually healthcare.gov or a state-based exchange for the whole state, but healthcare.gov is in many states, or the exchanges have vendor partners, many of them out there. They have metallic levels, so it's systematized. and the metallic levels are very uniform across the states and very accessible. Great accessibility. You can get online, you can call in, you can work with a broker, you can work with a vendor, outside tech vendor, outside of the exchanges, or go straight to healthcare.gov. But they're very, very accessible, very easy to get into for high risk. Why is that important? Because now we have accessibility and affordability. What problem did the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act solve? Better and more uniform accessibility. What problem did it not solve? Affordability. Actually, the rates went up after the law. Rates have continued to climb at an accelerated pace. So affordability is out the window. What helps lower the cost of any type of insurance? Property and casualty, auto, life, any type of insurance. Underwriting. Okay, I'm going to ask it one more time and drive this home. Underwriting is very important. What lowers the cost of any type of insurance? Underwriting. Okay, so here's the golden question. Does the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act, the law, the current law, it hasn't been repealed or replaced and it's probably not going to be, does the current law allow underwriting in individual health insurance? Most of you are saying no. Actually, it does. If you go back and read the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act, there's a clause in the law that says a plan that is deemed a STLD, short-term limited duration, if a plan is 364 days or less, so 1 day shy of a full year, then it's considered a short-term limited duration plan. And these plans are exempt from the ACA laws and can be private and underwritten. So what does that make these short-term limited duration plans? We'll just call them term plans from here on out. Makes them private and underwritten. You can get a plan from a national carrier, national PPO, nationwide networks, underwritten for you and your family. We're seeing individuals from $50 a month. We're seeing families from $200 a month if they're relatively healthy. And these are fair and affordable, real major medical coverage. How are families leveraging these? This short video shows you how a family uses these plans to get quality coverage.
Health insurance is complicated and too expensive, which is why so many families are looking for help. Ask your local agent about short-term medical insurance. Term medical is similar to term life insurance because the term length is selected when applying, keeping costs lower. Think of the term as a bridge, getting your family through the remaining calendar year. Similar to term life, you can apply for a new plan at the term's end. With savings around 50% and similar coverage to traditional major medical policies, let's review some benefits and considerations of these insurance plans. Some benefits: affordable, national PPO options, low deductibles, simple application, apply anytime. Keep in mind, not in all states, doesn't cover pre-existing conditions, not everyone qualifies depending on health history. Preventive service may not apply to deductible. Could you afford even one unexpected medical emergency?
All right, so these plans are real, they're very fair, and they're affordable. How did they come about, and how come you've not heard of them? How many Americans have heard of them? How many Jason Nealons are there that have heard about and enrolled in these plans? The numbers might surprise you. How are these plans available and affordable? There was an executive order signed by Donald Trump back in 2017, and the Health and Human Services, the Department of Labor, the Department of Treasury, and the Federal Trade Commission, all of the departments came together and put together, in response to that executive order, CMS 9924-P. You can download this online, on the internet, get the PDF, read it for yourself. I'm going to give you the highlights. This is now allowing folks to get bigger and better network access. So the exchanges and a lot of ACA quality accepted coverages have much skinnier networks to get the pricing down. These have national PPO with over 1 million providers nationwide for some carriers. These are designed to help give the middle class, upper middle class that can't afford ACA plans, either on a group chassis, on exchanges, COBRA alternatives, will benefit from additional choices, and they are benefiting. Now, here's the most important part. These plans have to last less than 1 day of a year, but they can be tied together up to 36 months. So you can go through underwriting one time and have a plan that lasts 1 day shy of 3 years. So there's a lot of folks going that route as we speak. The increased options at lower premiums is a no-brainer. Then what we had, and this is only accelerating these options and as a good alternative for many Americans. In January 1st of 2019, the tax penalty went away. So there is a $0 penalty to buy these new term medical plans. These plans are so popular that they're even highlighted on whitehouse.gov as being a good option for Americans that are 60% cheaper than the Obamacare, exchange, or ACA plans. We're seeing many Americans buy these as an alternative to joining their spouse's plan. So in 2020, starting in January and now accelerating because more people are being offered COBRA, losing their jobs, or realizing, waking up saying, hey, times are tight, times are risky. I need quality coverage for if something major would happen, especially with the pandemic going through. And we're seeing several carriers launch more affordable options, 1 year, 2 year, now 3 year plans. Some plans actually cover pre-existing conditions and have coverage for preventative care. Who are these a good fit for? Earlier, we gave you the teaser of the Nealon family. He's an independent business owner. These are also good for folks that are do not think it's affordable to join their spouse's plan. A lot of 1099 gig economy or self-employed fall in that category. And then also early retirees, folks that retire early and need something to get them to Medicare and want quality coverage with the national networks and national carrier. How popular this will be? Urban Institute did a study. Urban Institute said that 1.7 million Americans that are going without coverage today because they refuse to pay overinflated prices will appreciate the more affordable options and buy these plans. They anticipate another 2.6 million Americans that are on the exchanges or on a spouse's plan that is paying too much will enroll. So that's a cumulative of 4.3 million Americans that were estimated to buy these plans. This was released in 2018, this study. The pandemic, the COVID, is accelerating this dramatically because more Americans are saying, I need coverage for the catastrophic major event. And also, more Americans are losing their job and need an alternative to COBRA. So how does Agents for Hope help? And this is what I'm passionate about. We help agents, and then we receive bonuses and compensation from carriers for educating the community, the broker community, and we donate part of our portions to children's charities. That is the part that gets me and our team excited, is the hope part. Helping Americans find affordable options, and then building a great business upon that platform and doing something to give back with it.
Agents for Hope increases agents' compensation by an average of 30%, and every agent receives commissions directly from the carrier, letting you truly own your book of business. The business that each agent writes adds up to create volume, generating revenue for Agents for Hope. Then Agents for Hope donates 20% of all our profits to children's charities. It's exactly what Joey wants in business. He can now offer his clients more choice, earn more for his family, and make a positive impact in the lives of children.
All right, so if you watch this video, you either have businesses that you consult with, 1099 workforce companies that you work with, or just friends and family that you go, man, I know some people that need these options today. There's two ways that you can help them. Either get appointed with the carriers, and we have the contracts and can help get you appointed with all 4 major national carriers to make sure that you have the right products in the right states. Text Agents for Hope to 362-60, or just on your mobile phone, type in the number 36260 and then type the message Agents for Hope. Text that and you'll get the free app. They'll give you the resources to get appointed or to use a safe referral program. The safe referral program is simple. You have clients or family members and friends, folks that you know would benefit from at least being educated about these new options. We can help them. So we have a family benefit center that is a part of Agents for Hope, and the family benefit center is licensed in all states, and we can help these folks look at their alternatives, options, and see if these might be a good fit for for them. And we treat them as we treat our own family. That's why it's the Family Benefit Center. If you can't text the app or download the app, then you can also email Teresa at Agents for Hope. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm Justin Clements. My email is Justin at Agents for Hope. Look forward to working with you. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out or contact the representative that you've been working with today. Thanks a lot. Have a great afternoon.